Hey, it is Melody here from Business Technologist, your resident technologist, and today we're going to have some fun making a form, or more importantly, we're going to walk through a form and walk through the user experience. When we're thinking about end user testing, what does end user testing means? It means going from the point when somebody starts interacting with the entire process. But we're not going to do that today. We are just going to go through the setup of said form. Our use case today is an onboarding form for a new team member in Canada coming in, and we need to get their information in order to pass it over to a contract as well as to create their contact record in our GoHighLevel account. So, you ready to get started? I know, I'm excited too. I am going to share my screen. So this is the form that is currently created right now. Not the prettiest thing in the entire world, functional, but not the prettiest in the entire world. You got your first name, your last name, preferred name. When people come onto the team, my name's Melody, but sometimes people like being called Mel, or there's some short form or whatever else. Then we ask for a personal email, their phone number, date of birth, address. Some things that stand out to me here is you've got postal code here and state. Now, if you're familiar with Canada and the US uses states, Canada uses provinces, the US uses zip codes, Canada uses postal codes. So it's a bit interesting here to have the inconsistency between the two. I'd recommend, mostly this is aimed at Canadian people, so I would probably stick to Canadian terms like province and postal code. But the biggest kind of drawback on this is the fundamental flaw is the lack of consistency across this. So like you're using a Canadian term here and then an American term here. Somebody didn't think this through. Now, the thing about this is that in Canada, when a new team member comes on board, we need their social insurance number in order to be able to add them to our systems of payroll and everything else. Not everybody that joins the team is Canadian. So we wanted to know, like, okay, so are you legally eligible to work in Canada? Yes, no, I do not live in Canada. The no is kind of like a little bit funny of like, okay, why are you applying to a job and you don't? Anyways, we leave it there, whatever, or they do not live in Canada. Now, what strikes me as weird is that so if you say no here, those bottom two fields just kind of disappear, but that seems like a little bit weird to me. I think it should be the opposite where you say yes and then the fields appear, not oh no, then the fields disappear. Like it just doesn't quite make sense to me. And then I look at these bottom two fields here of do you have a Canadian SIN number? Now, if you know anything about Canada, like if you're legally eligible to work in Canada, then you're going to have a social insurance number. Or I think there's another term for it in the US. I can't remember what it is right now. So it's a little bit redundant of if they are saying yes, that you're legally eligible to work in Canada, you know that people have a social insurance number. So basically, this question we can just get rid of altogether. And then you would just want to have this one, but you'd only want this to appear if they say yes. Now, here's the thing with being a technologist of sometimes the tool doesn't make these things totally obvious and you just got to figure out a way to make it work the best way that you can. We take technology and we bend it to our will based on logic and reason of what makes the most sense for the end user as well as the person that is in the background having to receive said information. So I like looked in the background and I can see kind of why this was set up this way and we're going to walk through it together. So this is using a tool called GoHighLevel, and this is my lovely form here in the back end. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of this question altogether, like just get rid of it. And when I first came in here, and I'm also going to update this now. So I'm going to update this instead of state. So label, I'm going to put province instead. Province, hopefully it's spelled right. Ooh, there's autocomplete. That's kind of cool. Always just exploring and being curious. That's one of the fundamental things to being a technologist is just be curious. Don't be afraid to click around things. Don't be afraid to be like, okay, well, maybe this is how it works, or maybe that's how it works. Like that's the core of it. You can't just rest on like, oh, this is the way it's done. I'm always just kind of looking at like, what if I try this? What if I try this? We're not working life and death here. There's very little that you can actually really, really mess up. And if you try real hard, you probably can. All right, so my next thing is, are you legally eligible to work in Canada? Now, I'm not really all that familiar, at least when I was first getting into this, I'm not that familiar with Go High Level, so you do kind of have to like click around and figure it out. You can absolutely use ChatGPT or Claude or another AI tool to ask them, but I sometimes find that like start with just taking a couple clicks, take 5 minutes and just try to figure it out yourself versus going and asking either an AI or somebody for help. So the first thing logically I'd want to do if I'm looking for conditional logic on a form is like clicking on this and going into the settings. Now, I go in here, nothing really strikes me as conditional settings. I can see the field values here. I can see some options here, but there's nothing really there. Now I'm gonna just like mouse over a couple things and I can see show notification settings. I actually would like an email notification. That should go to me, just since we're here now, I would like these to go out. I would like to send a form, yes. Ooh, send in on a no, I don't want to do that. Well, one more thing off my list now. Now I see open conditional logic here. So I'm going to click on this. Now, so the logic that was set up was to hide the fields. I don't know why. So why would you want to hide the fields and show them in the first place? But you'd really only need one of these too. So it's if you're legally, and there was three before because there was three fields. If your legally eligible work is equal to I do not live in Canada, then blah, blah, blah. So I'm just gonna like get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of this altogether. Like I don't know what's going on there. It's not working. I'm gonna select the field here where it says if the are you legally eligible to work in Canada is equal to yes, then I want to show the please provide your SIN. And I'm going to save this. Now exit out, save. Then we go into the next step. So are you legally eligible to work in Canada? Yes. And then the field appears. Magic, right? And that's why they call us magical when we're technologists, right? It it is a little bit of like just sitting back and that's why end user testing is so important is put yourself in the shoes of somebody going through it, like think through it, look through it logically. And a lot of this stuff isn't hard. And it's just a matter of like, okay, half the battle is figuring out what you want to do and what makes logical sense. And then the other half of it is trying to figure out if you can bend the technology to your will to actually make it do that thing. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But when you do, man, does it feel great. So this has been Melody here, your resident technologist. Hopefully you've had as much fun as I have on this video, and I'll see you next time.